do the Lakers, speaking of if like this is a test of what you're really saying, is the Lakers 44.5 games really asking, do you think AD will ever play 60 games in a season again, right? Like, do you have the over or under on the Lakers?
I'm going to take the under on it for a couple of reasons. One is, as you pointed out, if LeBron and AD are healthy all season, yeah, maybe you could argue they could get into somewhere in the mid to high 40s in wins. But if they miss any time at all, as we've talked about a bunch on the show, Max, with the lack of depth on this roster, with 8, 9, 10 minimum salary contracts on the roster, I just think it's more likely, especially in a loaded Western Conference, where you could see 6 or 7 teams win 50 games. I think it's more likely they're somewhere in the low 40s in wins, and they're somewhere in the middle of that play-in tournament hunt. So I'm going to say the under in terms of betting on it, because I think obviously the high-end outcome is maybe they get close to 50, but I think the median outcome and all the lower outcomes all would be below 44.5.
But that, to me, it sounds like you're saying that people who just write them off that way are saying AD is done as a 60-plus game a year player. He was always injured a lot, but usually 62 games a season, something like this. And then recently, not even 40. If AD gets into 62 games and LeBron gets into 68 games, 65 games, Tim, the last time they did that, they smoked everybody. They were, let's not, Jokic and Jamal Murray were no match for them. No match.
Well, there's a significant difference, though. That team had an actual supporting cast around them, right, Max? This team does not. Like, for as good as those two guys are, the bottom 80% of the roster is near the bottom of the league, frankly, in terms of talent. And so when you look at how deep the Western Conference is at the top, and you look at the amount of holes that the Lakers have, yes, if both those guys are healthy all season, and I would say play over 70 games, both of them, I think they can win 45 to 48 games. But that's the absolute high-end outcome, and I think more likely you're going to be below it.
Real quick, Westbrook, essentially, even though he didn't pass the eyeball test, a lot of people looked at the numbers and said he's the same as always. It's just not in the right position for him, et cetera, et cetera. But that Westbrook was the engine on some very winning teams. So are we just writing off any kind of positive effect he could possibly have on this team?
Yeah, I think we saw last year what the effect Russell Westbrook is going to have on a team. And what we saw the couple years before that, specifically in Washington, I think Russell Westbrook could be the engine of a team that's trying to be 500. I think he needs to change his game pretty dramatically if he wants to be part of a team that's trying to win 50 or more games. I think last year proved that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.